broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Rackom. Now, let the buzz begin!
This music, yes.
I love it so much.
It's
like giving me chills through my bones. Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome back to the Black Sails After Show. Tonight, we're going to talk Season 3, Episode 1, XIX, or 19. But before we dive into that, and we cannot wait to talk about it because it was super intense, and we're so excited about this whole season. Yes. But want to make sure you guys are subscribed to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. And also on iTunes and SoundCloud. And if you like our after shows, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating in iTunes and a review, and talk to us on Twitter, iTunes, everywhere. We want to know what you guys think about the episode. I'm Lauren Salaun, and you can find me on Twitter at Lauren Salaun. And to my left, we've got Nadine Delle Pelle.
Nadine Delle Pelle here. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter at NadineDP and the number 3.
Awesome. And Keetin Marchi.
Hi, you guys. I'm so excited to be on this after show. Ooh. Yes! I'm such a Black Sails super fan now. But you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all across the social media board, at my name, Keetin Marchi. Nobody else decided to take it, so I did.
You didn't need a number or anything, just the name.
You don't need any numbers. It's that unique, guys. Don't forget
Original. It's awesome. So, before we talk about Season 3 and this weekend's episode, let's talk about where we're at and where Season 2 left us. Mm-hmm. So, we got a ton of backstory on Flint. Mm-hmm. So, we learned all about who he is, his relationship with Miranda and with Thomas, which was a big shocker.
Oh my gosh. I never saw that coming at all.
Neither did I.
Like this, I don't know.
I was like, what?
Well, because with Lady Barlick, I was like, oh, that's his lady. You know, we've seen them, hooking up and stuff. Mm-hmm. But that was definitely a huge shocker.
Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely. And we see how that whole situation ended up turning him from James McGraw to Captain Flint, which he thought was going to be kind of a short-term thing to kind of escape. But now that's definitely who he is. So Flint...
He fully embraced the Flint.
Yeah, that's become his life.
Badass pirate. Flint and Vane became unlikely allies when Vane had to rescue him from Charlestown in order to protect the mystique of pirates. Because as we even saw from this weekend's episode, if the fear of pirates is gone, then they're all kind of unemployed.
There are no pirates. Pirates go extinct.
And not only the fear of pirates, but it's like if they're fighting against each other and they have a country's army, like whether it's Spain's navy, which was the most powerful navy, I believe, at this time, or the British Royal Navy coming at them, and they're not aligning, piracy is dead. Right. They will all be wiped out. Yeah. And so it's like unless they work together, there's no point to do what they're doing.
Yeah, and that whole lifestyle that they've worked so hard. I mean, they've killed so many people. They've stolen. Let's just be real with how many deaths have happened, and you guys are just gonna fight with each other just to let that all go, and it was for nothing.
It's like when you
can't do that.
It's like when you watch like a Marvel movie or like some type of random superhero movie, and you realize all the casualties that just happened that they just don't even talk about. That's sometimes what I feel about this show. These guys have killed so many people.
So many people, and they're still Flint is still alive. Come on, the odds of that. Or him or Vane being alive.
He's the best pirate.
He's just a badass.
He's the best pirate, and everyone knows it, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, we also saw Flint return Abigail Ashe to her father. Mm-hmm. Miranda was killed, which also was I remember watching it, and I think I screamed and then just started crying.
Oh, yeah. I let out a huge scream.
Devastating.
Well, and they keep showing it in every program. I'm like, I don't need to see it again. Please do not. I don't want to see this woman get shot in the head again. And it was so shocking the way they did it, and the shot.
I'm getting emotional now. Thinking about it again.
And then basically it backfired. Everything that he tried to be a good man, and
Yeah, it didn't
and now
well.
he is like, no more of that. I'm killing everyone.
Yeah, well, I think the worst part was because they put her body in the coffin in the middle of the town square, and then they just completely degraded the whole body. So that even more was just the cherry on top of all of it for his revenge here.
Yeah. So
Goodness.
Silver also aligns with Flint.
My love.
I love Silver
John
too.
Silver is my love.
Big Silver fan?
Big Silver.
Yeah.
Team Silver all the way. But he's kind of getting he's a new man this season. He's lost a leg and a little bit of his heart.
Yeah.
I know.
He's a little bit more facial hair too.
I don't know if like some of his heart, because in season 2 we saw him being so conniving and backstabbing, and not necessarily backstabbing, because every time he does something you're like, oh, but it's Silver, he can do that because he's so sweet and he's a jokester, but he's always out for himself.
But this is what I feel about Silver, though, is like he has been kind of our comic relief. Him and Jack Rackom are definitely our two little comic reliefs that we get, that we've gotten in the first 2 seasons. And I feel like that dramatic change, or that dramatic, like just losing his leg and what he had to go through, I think that is going to really, really change who he is and really hardened him. And he's bitter. He's real bitter about it. And so I think I don't think he's going to be the comic relief anymore. I think we're going to get a little bit more from Rackom, and we might get a new character here or there, or somebody else that's going to give us that comic relief, because we're going to see John Silver's storyline switch.
Right, I agree with that, him transitioning kind of out of the comic relief role a bit, because when he lost his leg last season, it was because he wanted to put his crew and his men first, you know? Before that, everyone was kind of disposable, and they kind of are still to him, but he, at that point, he could have probably sold someone out to save his leg and decided not to. It was like, no, these men, like, trust me, I need to save them so they don't all get
such a good
I think the issue now is the fact that it's more of a permanent thing for him. Whereas before, like, if he wanted to save
no leg.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, the permanent aspect, he has to stay with the crew. Because before he had sort of the option, he could, care for them, be with them, or he could also dip out whenever he wanted to. So now that his leg's gone, he really does have to rely on them. And so now he doesn't have a choice. And now he's like, oh, well, all right, this is the path I'm taking now, so he does have to get a little harder.
Well, I think not only that, I think by him creating this connection with the crew, like he never wanted to really be a pirate. John Silver has always been out for himself, and every move he's made has been to further himself and to keep himself safe. And piracy was just like a thing he kind of fell into, that he was like, I'm gonna do this until I get my gold, and then I'm gonna peace out.
Yeah. It was the next business venture.
Now he can't leave, really. Now that's what I'm saying. He's stuck, so now he has to,
I think he genuinely cares about the men now, which is a whole change from just caring about himself. And I think he kind of cares about Flint a little bit.
I do too.
Which I want to talk a little bit more once we get into the episode about what you guys think about his feelings towards Flint versus
it's something we'll see a lot through season 3, I think.
Lots of growth and getting him one step, no pun intended with the leg thing, closer to being Long John Silver. Which will be interesting to see how that all formulates. Bless you.
Thank you.
So Bones returned and does not throw Flint under the bus for betraying him, but ends up siding with him. I know, I was very excited to see Bones coming back. Rackom turned his really bad reputation as kind of a weakling, around a lot, and ends up with a crew. He's a captain, improved reputation, fixed his relationship with Anne, alliance with Max. Like he ended season 2 on top, feeling really good, which was really exciting to see. Well, because everyone loves Jack.
And season 2 ended literally with Max, Jack, and Anne having the reflection of gold on their faces. They've completely turned around from being all 3 of those characters were kind of in the hole at the end of season 1 and at the beginning of season 2, so it's interesting to see them kind of turn their lives around. But I don't think Jack is strong. I think he's high. Like, the gold makes him strong, but him as he is not strong. No. Like, the only reason he beat that guy was because, he got real lucky, first of all.
Yes. He was like, whoa, that worked?
Yeah. He's like, uh-oh. No, but he didn't even get to where he is now with that by himself. It's not like he did fight to it, but the girls helped him out a lot. It was a team effort, so it wasn't just him.
He's a good leader. I don't know that he's necessarily smart or put, again, one-on-one against other people would always come out on top, but he's a good leader. leader and knows how to build a good team around him and find people with strengths that he doesn't have.
will help build him up.
And he doesn't really screw people.
He surrounds
over.
himself. Yes, I think that's what differentiates him from people
Basically
like
everyone
Flint.
else.
Yeah, basically everyone else.
Everyone else
Jack
that lives
at
there.
this point, he kind of stays loyal, and loyalty. It's such a big thing in this world, but nobody has it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Exactly. And so kind of transitioning to Max. Max stepped in and became very powerful in Nassau when Eleanor, got...
And got all the good fashions.
gosh. Yeah.
Got all the great dresses.
That still just aggravates me so much. I hate that Max is just so excited about it. I don't know. It's just so like you're
Are
saying
you a Max
loyalty.
hater? Are
I'm
you
a
a
little
Max
bit. I'm a little bit of a Max hater, and I
my
know you guys like
God.
Eleanor, or hate Eleanor, but I kind of like
don't
her.
hate her.
So I'm very opposite of you
don't
guys
hate
right
her.
now.
I don't
Yeah.
hate any of the women on this show.
Yeah.
Eleanor was so annoying all the time. She was just always kind of whining, and I never felt like she fell into her place.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
Not as from an acting or character standpoint, but like Eleanor the character. Drove me crazy.
Just so we all get to know each other a little
Yeah.
bit better, because this is
Yeah.
our first panel we've all done. Favorite character and least favorite character. Has nothing to do with the acting or the person or whatever, just character-wise.
Oh gosh.
That's a hard question.
And you have to pick
favorites.
one and one. One and one.
Okay.
I love Charles Vane.
Okay, so favorite. We know what our favorite character is now. We all
And
like
I
a little
don't
dirty
like
bad
Eleanor.
boy.
There we go.
Oh, that's funny.
Charles and
'cause
Eleanor.
those-
I know, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
maybe
Team
I'm
Vane.
jealous.
Team Vane.
I love Vane too as well, but I think Flint I just love. I think that he has to go through a lot
He's
of
so
stuff.
cool.
I would say Miranda because she is a very interesting, but R.I.P. Like I won't put her as favorite right now because she's gone. But so I'll say Flint, and then I'll say Max is my least favorite.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm just not a Max fan.
That's so funny that you guys were such Miranda fans. I was never a huge Miranda fan. She kind of bugged me.
Really?
She kind of annoyed me, and she just seemed like she was always out for herself more so than Flint, and Flint was always trying to help her and whatever. So wait, who are your two characters?
So Flint and Max. So Flint is my
Favorite,
yes.
Max is least favorite.
Yes.
All right, my favorite. I'm Team Silver. I love
Yeah,
me some
we
Ron
knew you were gonna
Silver.
say that
Oh,
one.
I love him. I love him. I love him. Least favorite. You know what? No, I don't want to pick my least favorite being a girl. You two, you guys are all both woman haters.
Sorry, ladies.
Ooh. Oh, do you know who my least favorite is?
Dufresne.
Yes! I hate Dufresne. I hate those little glasses. I hate him.
He's just such a weasel.
He is a
Dufresne,
weasel.
he doesn't even come into my head anymore. He's just that
He
minuscule in
sucks.
my mind. I
Right?
just don't even get
I
it.
hate Dufresne.
Stinks.
That was a good one. That's a good least favorite.
But
he's
I
low on
like,
my
yeah,
list,
I
too.
think he's, I think I'm gonna bring him back to mine as well.
Well, and like it's so the one I love about Captain Flint is that every episode I either go at the end of the episode I'm like I hate Flint or I'm like I love Flint. I like my emotions. I'm just all over the board with him and but I always by the end of the season because obviously he's the main character they get me to fall in love with
Right,
Flint
yeah.
again. But there's some episodes where I'm like
Oh yeah, he's incredibly polarizing, but from like a one person perspective, you're like, hey, yeah,
But
just
I feel
like what
for
you're
him
saying.
though. I feel for him. That's why, I don't know. I feel like an emotional connection. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Next time you'll do better.
Right.
Like,
And-
you won't kill that many people next
And
time.
season 2 put that all together for
Yeah.
us and made us understand why he was like that
it all
and
comes from.
and empathize with him and and love him even more and be like, oh well, he's doing it because he was so heartbroken and
Yeah.
got his life torn out of underneath him,
And now it sort of happens again. We see that in season 3 we'll talk about. His personality now is because of stuff that happened all throughout season 2 in the past.
he
even
was
more.
real angry.
So yeah,
Real
he's just a little. I think
got some issues
problems
he's working
there.
out.
Yeah, so it's but we all get where it's coming from,
that.
Oh, he
so.
looks he looks super
Oh,
badass.
yeah.
But they had to because they bring in Blackbeard, who doesn't even have to look badass. He just
Oh, right.
is.
Yeah.
He just is, and
I think Flint looks so sexy. That was the first thing I
does.
saw on my screen. I was like, "Hello, season 3, we're here."
Yeah.
it's so funny. I think having I feel like this is such a male like driven show, and this is like I think that's obviously the main demographic for a show like Black Sails, and especially if you look at all of Starz's type of like TV shows, I feel like Outlander is their main like female show, and then Black Sails is like such a dude show. But like to have a panel of 3 women, you're welcome.
Discussing it. Here we are.
You're welcome.
We all hate the women on the show.
I don't.
I don't. Eleanor got on my nerves. I don't hate her. She just was always so whiny and annoying. I feel
It'll be really
Anyway.
interesting to see how you feel this season about her. Because I know she's gonna really.
Oh, she's coming back.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be dead by the end of the season.
Anyway, we'll get to more predictions later. Easy. Whoa, just going for it. So, also season 2, we end with Max, Anne, and Rackom have been in this love triangle business partnership that came with a lot of drama, but ultimately they ended up on the same team and with a ton of gold, thanks to some like sneaky maneuvering with Silver as well. And now they've pretty much got the biggest target on their backs from all directions because they've got that gold, but no one really knows.
Well, this is the thing. I don't even feel like they have big targets on their back at this point. I just feel like they have a lot of people who are like, "What can I do for you?" And I want I want to do something so we can do something with this gold.
On the small scale, yes, I would say, but on the larger world power scale,
Spain and
sure.
England are coming after you.
They're a little upset. But no, yeah, I mean, I predicted at the end of season 2 that we were going to come back to this huge war that was going to transpire basically down in Nassau. So I was a little surprised to see what Nassau kind of is now in comparison to what I thought it was going to be. So yeah,
it's going down. So yeah, Fort is under Rackham's control thanks to Vane's help, and as always, Vane's pretty much a badass. So that sets us up for season 3 premiere, which let's dive into it. So how would you guys sum up your feelings like in one phrase about the premiere episode?
It was intense. I think it was very intense, and I think it just shows that the stakes this season are going to be so much higher in so many aspects. Not only, I think the thing that we sort of touched upon is the fact that pirates now have to come as one. It's no longer crew against crew. Now it's going to be crew against the world, sort of.
Right.
And so that's what I mean. The stakes are higher. Everything's bigger. Everything means more. And so, yeah, so it left me with an intense sort of feeling that season 3 is going to be great.
Bamf.
Bam.
I'm just going to say bam because Captain Flint, Blackbeard, Max even, like Rackom, everybody is in this very unique, badass place right now. I mean, we saw very quickly by the end of this episode, people freaking out now, but everybody kind of starts off this episode in like a really awesome place, except Eleanor. Poor Eleanor. But Eleanor, by the end of the episode, she got it turned around. She got very lucky. So I don't know. I just think this is going to be a really badass season. I think it's going to be even better than the last 2 seasons.
I'm like exactly on the same page with you. I'm like, lots of pirate badassery is about to go down.
I think this is going to be the most exciting season, I would say. I think
I'm
3 is going to be the most
so
excited one. Yeah. I mean, look at all of us right now. We all just watched it again. We're all just freaking out.
Bad.
And it starts off when we see parallels with all 3 of our big pirate factions. Flint, Vane and Rackom, and then Blackbeard. So let's start with Blackbeard, which we see opening things up, and I freaking loved that scene.
Yeah. Can we, like, it just showed he didn't really have to do anything, and he's so powerful.
He didn't even look at them. Back to them. But
how awesome was the shot with the eyes in the mirror?
I loved that.
I'm gonna look up who was the DP and director of this episode, but dang, because we talk about the actors, we talk about the characters, but I know like a lot of the crew members not crew members, but like post people and stuff. This show is on such a large scale.
It's so well done.
And exactly the visual effects, the writing, the attention to detail on this show is incredible. And so I hope we can get some crew members in to kind of give us some more behind the scenes stuff as the season goes on.
You guys hear that? If you're watching,
come on.
We want you here. We want you here. We did get to talk to Jessica, who plays Max, which was cool. So
just a couple weeks ago, the interview is on AfterBuzz. Guys can look it up. We'll tweet it out later. But yeah, I agree. That scene, that little glimpse in the mirror, he doesn't even stop writing. He's like, "Oh, you Mary's brothers. Oh my gosh, get out of here! Like you're wasting my time." Blah 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 blah. And I just. Yeah. Oh, it was.
I love that they didn't have to go over the top with it. It was just so simple, but it really made a point, and especially at the end of that scene, where instead of you think there's going to be some huge sword fight, all you hear are just 3 gunshots.
Yep.
And that's
Dead.
it. Just bam, bam, bam. Just that's it. Over, done with. This is who we're dealing with this season. He's coming.
Right. So. And we, we just know that he's going to be such a force to be reckoned with. He's so intimidating, so powerful. Business. He means business.
Yeah.
Like, do not stand in his way.
Oh no.
And he's been going by the name Drummond, which we learn obviously isn't his real name. It's
Edward
Teach. Edward Teach, aka Blackbeard.
Edward
And then he
Teach.
says, after I've shot these guys, let's head on to Nassau.
Yeah. Let's
And
go.
what's also interesting, I think, about Blackbeard, and what's also interesting about this show is some of the characters were real life people and some of them weren't. Blackbeard was a real life pirate.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they actually pull from history and bring into this character in this kind of half real, half fantasy world of pirates that they've created.
It's so
for
fun
us.
because we've got, this as a prequel to Treasure Island, but then which also has real pirates. So we've got this novel we're working from, real historic people and events, and then what the showrunners and writers
Hollywood,
and creators are going to do with it too. So we've got all these different directions that things could go, which makes it a lot of fun because you can kind of guess, but then you're
you can
also not
predict
totally
it, but
sure.
it's not right there, right in your face for you.
And Ray Stevenson, who is playing Blackbeard, he is a big dude. Like I saw him like at the premiere thing, and he's just
is he terrifying in person?
No,
or?
he was so clean cut, and he doesn't have like all the crazy, and he's like super like sleek back, and like he's been in a ton of movies and a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's a big name, but he's a big just dude. Like his presence when he's just standing there is very intimidating, even when he's super clean cut and clean shaven.
Gosh.
When
good
I saw
casting then
him,
for Blackbeard.
I
That's
saw
great
him
casting.
and I saw Captain Flint, and I wish I would have had the
Oh my
guts to go up
God.
to either
Captain
of them.
Flint.
But Captain Flint, I just like,
Gosh, I would have died.
yeah.
What's his hair looking like now? Is it still short or?
It's still very,
It's still very short.
And
Okay,
he's
'cause
just-
I love it. I love
I
this
didn't
shit
want to stare for too long because then it's just it gets inappropriate.
It gets
at
to
that
a point
point.
where you're like, uh-oh, how long has this been?
Like you can't get lost in the gaze. Of
Have
your
I blinked
screen.
yet? No.
Does he know I'm looking at him? Cool, yeah? Okay, great. Sweet. Speaking of, let's talk about Flint, Silver, and their whole gang. So we open up with Flint invading and killing a man and a woman. Basically they're like
No
willing
mercy.
to surrender, all this stuff. And he was
yeah.
like, I said, like any capital punishment of pirates would be dealt with. Yeah, no mercy. Exactly. And it didn't seem like the killing of the wife or the woman in that scene was absolutely necessary, but it seems like it was very much a, pseudo revenge for
It's a
Miranda,
revenge kill. It's totally a revenge kill. And after he shot her, he just sort of stood
Yeah,
there
he
and he
just
stared at
sees
her.
that. Mhm.
And it was like, this is what I'm doing this for. Everything I'm doing right now, going into these towns, killing these people, it's all for that woman that I lost. It's laying just like that. And I think it was great, like camera work and then directing, the fact that they paused on her for a little bit to really soak that in and understand where his revenge is really stemming from for the whole season. So.
But this pisses me off too. This is why.
There it is.
Flint,
There it is.
You and there was a conversation between him and John Silver about John as being like, dude, you got to think of your men.
Yeah.
Like the only reason you are who you are the only reason you have the reputation you have is because of your men, and every single one of them deserve some type of credit for that, and you cannot disregard that and also put them in any more danger. And he's sticking up for his men.
Yeah, because things continue to escalate and get even more dangerous. More people are dying. Like, it's getting out of control.
But what pisses me off is that like he's now just doing this just for this one woman. It's like why does it always go back to that? Like I want you to do it for the greater good of piracy, but no, now it's only about this one woman, and it kind of seems a little weird to me because halfway through last season, Captain Flint was gay. Like, and now he's like, revenge for my woman. Like, but, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if we can say like 110% gay. Like, obviously, yes, we know that's what was happening, but I think he very much loved Miranda, even if it wasn't necessarily like in the complete sexual attraction way. Obviously, they were also having sex. We saw that.
Yes.
But, he loved her, and she was probably his best friend.
Yeah,
so
I agree
even
with
if
that.
she wasn't like his person, like his forever person, like they were a team, so, but he also does have to say for my woman in front of everybody, because he can't say for my beard.
Yeah.
I
love that. No, but I don't think it's not just stemming off of her revenge. But he also realized there that when he was in the town when she passed away and stuff, he was also betrayed by one of his closer friends. He everything that happened in the past, I think that she was the topping, icing on the cake of all of it. But I think it was just everything in general about it. So, but yeah, you're right. In front of the men, you have to say for my lady. You have to say for my woman.
Exactly. And I like that Silver is standing up to Flint a bit in this episode, you know? And you were saying, Keetin, a little earlier how you think that Silver really, really loves him and cares about him. And I feel like we're warming up for some face-off between the two of them because he is, like he is saying, the men listen to me and you need to listen to the men. So yeah, you have to kind of listen to me. And Flint's like, dude, in my book, you don't mean squat. Like, you're not even deserving of being
You haven't
here.
slithered your way into my brain yet.
Right, exactly.
Well, and what's interesting is that, again, Captain Flint, the only, yes, he has his men surrounding him, but, those are really all he has because he doesn't really have John Silver or Billy Bones in his back pocket anymore because of what they know he's done. So,
yeah.
But they have each other's backs. So it'll be very interesting to see the more he pushes his limits with those two because even though Flint has the men, he has the men because John and Billy have the men and John and Billy support him. So it'll be very interesting to see if there is, I think that's a really good prediction, is that maybe by the end of the season or throughout this season, we're going to see John Silver and Flint maybe start going at odds. And I feel like if John Silver decides to peace out, he's going to get everybody and Flint's not.
And we already know that he's already, he's got his hands in everything. He's got an alliance with Max and subsequently her crew. So it's not like Flint's his only option.
When that's going to come to play, when Flint is really going to realize the hand that Silver really had in getting that gold back, Well,
and I think he's blinded by revenge a little bit, and I think that's going to be what's going to hurt him at the end, is that he's so caught up in revenge. And any show or anything you watch, revenge is never good. Chasing after revenge always comes back to bite you and lead to your demise in a way. So it will be interesting, but I'm Team Silver. I love Flint. I love me some Flint, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, I love Silver.
Silver's awesome.
He's my favorite.
But you think he could really win in a fight with Flint? Let's be real now.
Let's man versus man? No.
Man on man? God, no.
Yeah, now with his peg leg?
No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So it's like, you hope that there's no fight that comes.
But if it were a Flint versus Silver and the men behind them?
Valid. Okay.
Yes, I think so, because even Silver even says, they scare you, or they're terrified of you so much that they're terrified of me now.
Yeah. Well, do you know what else we saw a lot of in this episode was Flint's idea of what the quartermaster should get the men to do, and just Silver's idea of what the quartermaster should do. And I mean, they get themselves in huge trouble because John Silver doesn't listen to Flint about taking the time to go look at this ship, because all the men see this empty ship and they're all excited. Let's go see what's in it. Flint's like, if it was me, I wouldn't do it. We're wasting our time. There's a storm coming. We need to just get back to Nassau. And that literally is the catalyst to probably what is going to launch us into this season, and kind of them trying to work their way back to Nassau as this other ship, people are trying to get them because they're going towards the storm as far as we know.
Let's talk about that. So they see in the distance Hollandale's ship approaching, and they're like, oh, everyone thinks they can just be a pirate. What is this? They board this ship and find that the captain is chained to a table, dead. No other men are there. There's a journal that he's just written over and over again. We all die alone, or we die alone, and he's been drinking seawater. So he went crazy.
Sad. It's
which is really sad. And as soon as that, you see him writing that, and they're like, oh, shoot, and I'm like, it's a trap. And Flint tells his guys, get out of here. We need to get out of here. And lo and behold, Horningold and Dufresne are manning a hunting ship that hunts other ships, basically.
Two worst people.
Right? The worst.
I don't hate Horningold. I liked him. Yeah,
level-headed.
he's level-headed. He was smart. He was a smart pirate. So he's just doing what's best for him right now.
I mean,
which is Dufresne I hate Horningold
sucks.
in all caps in the chat.
No,
Love
Dufresne
is just such a weasel.
He
already
is.
said that. But they pretty much are like, okay, surrender and be pardoned or be captured. And Flint had already said, okay, we're not going to battle because we're outnumbered by guns, but I'm not agreeing to a deal or a truce with somebody who took my woman and murdered her and humiliated her, you know. And that scene was so well done and so powerful, you know, his speech there to the men. And
there's one thing he does well
is give a good speech.
Speeches.
Right? He's a good politician when he needs to make those speeches. And, you know, he's like, it's clear they're terrified of us. Why would we surrender? So he's like, okay. And Silver, you see on his face when he's giving this speech, Silver's like, bro, you just said we're not surrendering and we're not fighting. What the H are we going to do then? And Flynn's like, let's go into that storm. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I think with Flint, I think he just doesn't care about death anymore. I think he's just not scared of death. And so he's willing to take everyone in there. Like, the revenge is just...
Well, and John and Billy are seeing that, and that's freaking them out because their job is to take care of the men. And that's one of the reasons why they're going to be hitting heads, is because Flint gives none.
Yeah. So if he's going to die, he's like, I'm going to die. We're going to go to the storm. Sure, I'm going to die. And everyone else is like, but what about us? Our lives matter too.
Exactly.
Pirates' lives matter, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Bones and Silver, when they're talking about this whole situation, they're like, okay, so Hume had gotten 10 pardons, and Hornigold here is saying he's got 80, you know, to offer our whole ship. Like, someone else must be behind this. So that raises some questions, I think, for later. Like, could it be one of the big armies? Like... Yeah. Who knows?
Who's coming? Who's going to come down? Yeah.
Oh, I think Rackom or Vane said it best when he's like, when you're sitting on Spain's gold on England's island. Something big is coming. And Billy also said, if there's one thing Flint is right about, it's that there's something much bigger than all of us is coming.
Right, exactly.
And then you just see Blackbeard like come off and like land on Nassau. It was the best ending. It was just like, there it is, and that's what's coming.
So let's talk.
Where is Vane?
Let's talk about Vane and Jack and that posse. So we open up with Vane and his crew on a ship heading to another ship where all these men are jumping off, and they were in pursuit of this ship per Rackham's instructions, and they're like, wait, they're not deserting the ship, that's the cargo. And so this pisses Vane off quite a bit because he previously was a slave, and he's like, okay, Jack, this isn't cool, you sent me to go capture slaves and didn't tell me what the whole purpose was. And Jack is pretty much like, he's in a pickle because he's in charge of protecting and rebuilding the fort that's protecting all their gold, and has no men who are willing. Nassau, and has no men who are willing to help rebuild it. And so the best option is slave labor.
To use the slaves at the end. Well, that's what when they had a conversation at the end, and he goes, I hope you know, Jack, he's like, I hope you know I take no enjoyment in doing this. And Vane's like, oh, I know if you did, you would be dead already by now.
I love
that was a great
Jack and Vane's
They're
bromance.
little, I
love
love that it's developing like that.
Well, and they're just so different, but they work so well together, and they're loyal to each other. Like, and that's I don't think either of them have ever really turned on the other one. So
and they respect each other so much too.
Well, you've seen them sort of the past 2 seasons butt heads a little bit here and there, but they get over it.
Well, they listen to each other.
Exactly, they listen to each other. But here's when you actually see them sit down by themselves with the gold and just have this nice relationship and friendship right there.
I want to sit in a pile of gold.
I know, right?
Exactly. I did really like how they wrote that scene with them sitting there and talking about the slaves and all that, and Vane's like, if you don't beat them, it's not any better than what you're doing. Like, it's not about lack of food or, you know, the labor or anything of that. It's like the unknown, like not knowing where that punishment is going to come from or what you're going to be doing tomorrow or what you can even do with your life. And so he's really like, you know, and saying that from a place of knowing what it's like as well. And I thought that was just so well written, and it was such like a kind of a heart-to-heart discussion.
Well, it's an interesting also like look into like the life of a slave, and like an honest look of like, it, you know, it doesn't matter, like all that stuff sucks too, but what really sucks is that you have this one life to live and you have no control of it. And like but like literally you have people telling you every day you have no control of it because you work for other people every single day and you don't get anything out of it.
And I think Nassau is a town, and they've sort of created this place where the normal rules of society and what's going on currently don't exist.
I don't know.
They've made up their own rules and stuff. So the fact that they don't want slaves to be a thing, then slaves are not going to be a thing, and especially in a time where it was so prevalent. So the fact that that's happening on this island where they want it to be completely different than the outside world, it's hard for both of them to understand, and that's why they're both a little upset that they had to resort to using slaves like everyone else in the world is at that time. You know?
Exactly. And And when they're having that conversation in there, and the voiceover is going on Eleanor's arrival, or departure from where she's being held, and getting on the ship and all that. And so I think just signaling that she is going to be a very key player in whatever battle is about to happen, or potentially like their downfall or reclaiming control of
It's going to be interesting what side she chooses, because it's basically what she's told to get her freedom from what's-his-name Wood. Is that, hey, you give me I want a list of names. I want to know who I can bring in as my ally and who I need to destroy to take over Nassau. And she gives him one name.
I know. Let's talk about that first.
It's
Charles Vane. It has to be.
It has to be Charles Vane.
It has to be.
They cut immediately to Vane.
Well, and because she played with him so much the last couple seasons that. And then he
he did the ultimate
see
revenge.
Ya, girl.
Yeah.
And so I feel like she just wants to kind of spite him for one, but also she knows that he will risk everything and he gets shit done, and he will kill everyone to do it, sort of thing.
I think she's gonna turn, and I think that she's coming back with revenge, just like Flint is coming back with revenge.
Well, that's what she told him, that he needed to kill one person. While this one person's alive, you will have no control over Nassau.
Yeah.
So if that's Vane, she's basically saying you bring the British army and you kill this man.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless, do we think it could be Flint? I don't know, because
she has too much respect for Flint.
I think the whole
but
island has sort of turned on her too. I mean,
everyone's turned on her.
We saw the mockery of that trial in the bar.
It wasn't fair, though.
Everyone wants to see her die.
Yeah,
she has no friends right now.
So why wouldn't she turn on them?
Woods Rogers.
Yeah.
Who
isn't, I don't think, her friend.
No.
He's using her
just
completely.
Strategic alignment there.
Yeah.
The noose is around her neck, and he has a noose around her neck. It's just, and if he wants to kick her off the platform, he has that power.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's hers for the taking, basically. So. Definitely. Or she's his. Yeah.
I don't know. Eleanor looks rough. She needs a tan. I literally wrote down, Eleanor's looking rough.
She needs a glass of water, shower.
She's been locked up probably during the winter. Up north.
I know. She's
Naren in the chat thinks she wrote Flint's name down.
Oh, you think she wrote Flint's name down? But why would they cut to Vane?
To maybe confuse us, of course. Just like they always do.
Who knows?
They're not going to make it easy for us.
See, this is the thing, though, about Black Sails. I feel like they don't try to hide things from us. I think we just they use the audience's overanalyzation of everything, and that's what they used against us. They don't try to hide anything.
Yeah. Well, Flint.
Well, Flint, but they didn't really try to hide that. They didn't really try to hide that.
I guess
they didn't.
I mean, they straight up told us. They just they didn't even talk about it. They just told us that it happened, and we were all like, "Wow, all right, there it is."
Love her.
That's kind of what happened.
So, we're talking about Eleanor a little bit. We see her kind of coming back to life, essentially, and potentially becoming a big player in this season. Let's talk about the other ladies, Max and Anne. Yeah. So Max is on the top of Nassau here. She, from business and kind of political sense, and financially now, as we know. And we see the play about Eleanor's trial, and everyone, she did this kind of for the men. And Mr. Scott, who was, Eleanor's advisor, is pretty pissed about this, because I think he still, respects Eleanor and thinks that whole situation is unfortunate. Yeah.
We saw his struggle last season of how much it hurt him to not turn against her, but not be standing right next to her when she needed him most. But he had to look out for himself. But that ate away at him.
Yeah, I just think that Max is just a wannabe Eleanor, and I just can't get over it. It's especially now when you see the season, she's wearing the nice clothes, she's in charge, everyone's coming to her to try and fix their problems, but you see that she doesn't know how to handle those problems like Eleanor did.
This is the thing.
So Eleanor didn't know how to handle
but
anything.
She got stuff done, though. She got stuff done, and Max is just failing at all of it.
No, Eleanor,
I think
this is the difference between Max and Eleanor. Eleanor was really good at pissing people off with her decisions. Max tries to make decisions with pissing off the least number of people as possible.
And still getting ahead.
Which is why it takes her a little bit longer, because she's not as crazy as Eleanor is.
Right, Eleanor was so impulsive all the time.
Yes, exactly. That's why I think Max is going to be a little bit more successful than Eleanor was. She's going to use her Max knows how to get people to do her dirty work without anybody knowing. Exactly. Eleanor is just like, screw it, I'm gonna just do it because you're not doing it right fast enough.
So do you think that she's just using, what do you think about Anne then? Do you think she's just using Anne then for that benefit to try to get her ahead?
I think there's a genuine connection between Anne and Max, which is going to come to a head very soon. I don't think they're going to play this love triangle much longer because it's gonna get old. Right. So someone's going to have to choose. And one of my predictions, which I don't know if we should go into,
we're almost there.
Well, I said this when we had Jessica in studio. Right. I said this is what I think might happen, and I think it's going to happen either halfway through this season or by the end of this season. Is this love triangle? One person in this love triangle is going to lead to the demise of another person, and thus leaving two people who are angry at each other but still have a connection because they're mad. The one is mad at the other for killing the person, but they have to stick with them because that's all they have left because they lost that other person. So I don't know if it's going to be Max. Max, I don't think is going to die. I don't know if it's going to be Max killing Anne or Jack killing Anne or Max killing Jack, and then Anne's gonna be pissed at Max. I don't know.
So you think someone's gonna die?
You're
predicting one of them is going to die. Oh my goodness.
They're gonna have to kill off a big character this season, you guys.
They will.
They're going to have to. It's either they're gonna be Eleanor or one of the threesome.
I'm nervous about it.
They're going.
I mean, you already see the head-to-head. You already see when Jack calls Max her husband. She calls Anne her husband, and then Anne is sitting by Max at the bathtub, like, don't make me pick between you guys. You're already seeing both of them right now.
But do you know who Max is going to pick?
Who?
Blackbeard. And it's going
Blackbeard. It's going to go outside that group.
Hashtag Maxbeard. Maxbeard is going to take over.
Oh my God.
That's my prediction.
What about when Eleanor comes back? You don't think any of that? You think that's dead? What about that?
Eleanor is with Wood. It's going to be like Eleanor Wood. I don't know.
I'm talking about the romantic sense of it.
Right.
No, have you not realized yet that there is no romance in this show? Like, they give us little, like,
come on,
they give us a 5 minute little blips of it.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they take it away.
Yeah, this show is about politics and pirates.
Right.
And every once in a while, they throw us a good sex scene.
Exactly. There was a lot of sex in season 1. I feel like season 2 there was a lot of
sex in season 1.
Season 2 not as much. So guys, let's give us some goods in season 3.
Give us some goods.
Just kidding. What?
Give us some goods.
We're all waiting.
All right. So I don't know. Is there anything else we should? Because we're kind of getting down to it. We've been talking a lot about this. Anything else we need to cover from this episode? Anything that really stood out? I think we kind of got it all.
I think we have.
I mean, obviously, we touched on it. Closes with Blackbeard comes on a little boat in the night, gets off the dock, and is like, "Hey, I'm looking for an old friend, Vane." And you're like, "Oh, like this guy just walking up in there by himself."
Oh, he gives none. He's like a Flint. This is what's scary. Yeah. Is now there's two, like, we give no in Nassau. Like, there's, like, but really, give none and we'll, like, kill whatever.
Right.
But does he want to see Vane for good or bad? That's what we're left with right now.
No, I don't think we have a question about that, because should we get into predictions?
I think we should talk about predictions.
All right.
And somebody did say in the chat that real life in history, Vane and Blackbeard were buddies.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Well, maybe it gets reconciled, because obviously he's saying, looking for an old friend. He's like, in the teaser, Blackbeard says, when a man puts a dead thing in the ground, he expects it to stay there. And we know that Vane was buried alive and, broke out of it and then became super extra badass. So who knows where that came from.
Yeah.
And in the teaser, Flint and his crew, they're in the storm, like, show no weakness, blah. And Eleanor, to, I'm assuming, Wood, says, to slay Nassau, you must know her, and you don't. So she's kept a few chips in her pocket to have some leverage in this situation.
She's pulling a long John Silver. She's keeping some info in here.
Right.
So you gotta keep her alive.
I mean, this show is all about death or living, so you have to have
your
stuff
worth.
in it. Yeah.
Your worth.
Exactly. Your worth for your life, or you're gonna die. That's it. So if you don't, then you're basically SOL,
Right. So, okay. So what do we think here, ladies? I obviously, Flint and his crew are going into the eye of the storm. I think that we're gonna see Dufresne and Hornigold just kind of get taken out, and then it's about Flint's crew surviving and making it back.
Or I think that possibly they're just going to turn around. They're going to be too scared. They're going to get as close as they sort of can to the storm.
Or not even bother.
And they're just going to turn, and then Flint's just going to be stuck in it. So I don't think they're going to get killed off or anything. But
stop looking at us like that. You can't predict, because you already know what's happening next week.
I have seen the second episode, and I do have to. What I will say about the second episode is that, like, I remember when I sat down and watched them both back to back, I was like the first one was like, it felt a little slow, but then the second one I was like, oh my goodness. But then I rewatched the first one and I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't know. Like, I feel like when I rewatch the second one next week, it's gonna just be like,
oh my goodness.
But like, no, but the next week's episode, you guys, I cannot even tell you how good it is. Like,
oh my god.
Probably like my favorite Black Sails episode to date, and I literally just binged the entire series.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
that's a heavy statement. The best one to date. Wow.
It is so
I'm
good.
excited.
Yeah.
It is so good, and I don't want to give anything away, but except the fact that it's good. It's great.
All right. I'm excited.
Dare I say great? But I do. Yeah, there's some. There's some things coming. I'm scared to like give any more predictions because I'm trying to
mix it up. No,
I don't want to
cool.
mix it up with things I saw.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have with what I've said so far.
No.
Well, okay. So I think with Blackbeard and that little reminder about, or the factual historical knowledge of him and Vane being friends, I think we're gonna see a showdown between the two of them and some like good old fashioned like wrestling, and then maybe they'll be like, oh bro, let's throw some brews back with some hookers. Cool.
And then that's where the sex comes back in a little bit more.
Something like that. We'll see. I want to see Blackbeard and Max.
Yeah, Maxbeard.
Yeah.
That would be a hot.
That could be the 5-minute romantic thing.
Hot and powerful couple.
I don't even think it's gonna. It needs to be sexual. I just think Maxbeard is gonna like. I think he's gonna be like. He's gonna respect her. And Maxbeard is gonna come out.
Just take over.
Let's do it.
Over
I like
Maxbeard.
that Max
Because she's so
There you
cute
go.
too, you know, and like he's like this giant.
Yeah. So
I like
it's
it.
perfect.
It'd be a good team. I
The
think.
yin and the
Opposites
yang of it,
attract,
sort
guys.
of.
Exactly. So, all right. Any other predictions?
Can I
or-
ask one other? Do you think? I mean, obviously, we don't really get love stories in this at all. But do you think we're going to get any romantic interest with Flint? And will it be a man or a woman?
I don't think so. I don't think this season. I think this season, I don't even think he has time to even think about what he
Nobody got time for that.
No, seriously. I don't think what he really internally, I don't think he's going to be one of his emotions yet. I think it's going to take him a little while. I think maybe later, maybe next season or something. But
I don't think true romance. I think we may see him like,
that,
boning here and there, but I don't think we're going to see any real love situation with him. I think it's all about like battle.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can't even think
I mean,
about
I'm not mad about a shirtless Captain Flint.
No,
I'm really
none of
not
us
upset
are.
about it.
do that
No,
more
no,
and
did you
more.
guys-
And
I like this. I watched like all like the special features too for like, the past 2 seasons, and they all went to pirate camp. And like
yeah,
that's why
I
they're all
know.
ripped. I want to go to pirate camp. That's all I
pirate
want
boot
in my
camp,
life.
seriously.
I was
Pirate
gonna go just
boot
watch
camp.
Pirate Camp.
Right?
Can I just sit with popcorn and just watch it with
Cheer
a
them
mimosa?
on.
Like
Send
that's what I
us
want
a
to
pirate
do.
boot camper. Who puts on pirate boot camp? And I want to go.
We'll be the spectators.
Right.
Well, Anne Bonny was the only girl that got to go to partake in pirate boot camp.
You
so.
lucky dog.
I know.
Yeah, right?
I want some
sounds-
pirate boot camp in my life.
That sounds
Goodness.
fun. All right, so I think that just about does it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching, and thank you everybody for chatting with us. We love talking to you on Twitter, in the chat, everywhere, because obviously we're super into this show, and so are you guys. So let's talk about it together. As usual, you guys subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, also on iTunes and SoundCloud. And if you like this after show, be sure to leave us a review in iTunes. 5 stars. That's 10, but I mean 5. I'm just so excited about all 5 of the stars.
Spirit fingers.
I'm Lauren Salaun. You can find me all over the internet at Lauren Salaun. But why don't you just follow me on Snapchat there? Because I'll update you everywhere with that. And to my
That's
left,
creepy.
ladies, where can everyone else find me?
You can
not
find
creepy.
me. on
You can find me
Snapchat.
all over the internet.
anywhere you want.
PG-13.
So I am on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Nadine DP3.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Keetin Marchi.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Woo!
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.